Aggies, the Jazz, the high schools. If it's the sport you care about, we're talking about it. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Welcome back to the Full Court Press. Ajay, Salvesen, Eric Frandsen, 401 your start time here on a January 27th, Friday evening. Is it Friday? No, it's Wednesday.
Wow. Man, I wish.
Dude, yeah, okay.
It's Wednesday afternoon.
I forget. Look.
You've really jumped ahead.
Look, the Region 11 schedule, it's a Wednesday, Friday circuit, and so I thought, oh, it's Friday.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Aren't you special? You knew what day it was.
It's kind of important.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of things that are important here. Welcome to the show. However you're joining us, wherever you're joining us from, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, 106.9thefan.com, or streaming on the 106.9 The Fan mobile app. You can always text into our show from the mobile app itself or just via your phone. 435-339-0321. Again, 435-339-0321. We got a lot to get into. Aggies-Rebels in a pivotal game 2 for the Aggies. They cannot get swept in the series. Really need to win it tonight. We'll get into our keys, predictions, and a preview of game 2. That game is at 9 o'clock. Pregame with Al Lewis will be a tad bit later, around 8:30, as we'll have the Logan Grizzlies Bears game going on. And then Jazz play tonight versus Dallas, minus Donovan Mitchell, who is now in concussion protocol. He's out tonight. That's a big loss for the Utah Jazz, who come off a grueling yet rallying win over the New York Knicks. 1 point down 15, then win by 14, which is incredible.
That was a really fun second half to watch.
Well, the second half was. The first 3 quarters, though, I guess the first 2 quarters were pretty frustrating to watch Rivers just go off the way he did.
Okay, is Tom Thibodeau the most ignorant and blind head coach out there?
Yeah.
Austin Rivers comes into the game, scorching hot, doesn't miss.
Scores 25 on 10 shots.
Puts 25 on the Jazz, and looks like he has no signs of slowing down. And Thibodeau pulls him, sits him on the bench, and leaves him on the bench for a long time.
Yeah.
And then when he comes back in the second half, he's cold.
He's just cold.
The Jazz have made some adjustments. He couldn't get going again, and he was a non-factor. Jazz picked up some momentum, and Royce O'Neal got cooking. That just blew my mind. Tom Thibodeau, you've got a guy who is on fire, who last time you played these teams, they could not stop him. Let him cook. That blew my mind.
Dude,
as a Jazz fan, I was happy to see him sit and happy to see him ice cold when he came back. But if you're a New York Knicks fan, how are you not livid?
Well, he did that a couple of times with the Chicago Bulls, too, and I can't remember if it was Zach LaVine. I can't remember who it was, but someone had scored like 23 going into the fourth quarter, and was just lighting it up.
Probably Jimmy Butler.
He then sits him for like the first 5.5 minutes of the fourth, and they go from being up 9 to being down 12. They just get ratcheted. And then he throws the guy back in. I don't know if it was Butler or who it was. I can't remember. And he's cold. And they never got back into it. It's Tom Thibodeau's way of coaching basketball, which is not. There's a reason why he hasn't been, or I guess won a championship as that coach, or even came close.
Well, it illustrates my frustration a lot with the NBA. It's not just isolated to the NBA. A lot of professional leagues do this. They go and they have a coaching vacancy. So to fill that vacancy, they go out and find somebody who has failed at multiple other locations. And they give him a job thinking, maybe this time it'll work.
Yeah.
Where did he start? Minnesota?
Yeah. Then to Chicago.
Then he went to Chicago.
And then he was out for a bit, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was on the lam for a while. Now he's back with the Knicks.
The crazy thing is he was a great defensive coordinator when he was with the Boston Celtics under Doc. That was his. Yeah,
he had high praise.
Dude, he was a great defensive coordinator, but you just see he's not a good head coach.
He's so married to his rotations and going by the book, he can't recognize flow. I was pulling I mean, I was happy, but if I was a Knicks fan, I'd be pulling my hair out. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
The Jazz cannot stop Austin Rivers for some weird unknown reason. But nope. Let's pull him. Sit him on the bench. Because I got to run my rotations. It just baffled me. I was okay with it. But the other thing, too, that came out of that game last night is Donovan Mitchell got smacked twice.
Yeah.
And as a result, he's been put into concussion protocol. He started feeling symptoms this morning. Now, one time he was smacked by Austin Rivers across the face, got him in the nose. And then another time shortly after that, Mitchell was going up for a rebound, and can't remember his name, tall New York center, got the ball basically, and as he was coming down, kind of knocked Donovan to the floor, and Donovan kind of came back and hit his knee, and he was slow to get up. So combination of those two things, Donovan not doing great today, and so he will not participate tonight when the Jazz take on the Dallas Mavericks in Salt Lake City.
I'd be surprised if he participates in a couple of days when they play the Mavericks again and again in Salt Lake City. 108-94 last night, your final score from Vivint Smart Home Arena. Jazz improved to 13-4, 6-2 at home. Knicks now 8-11, 5-7 on the road. Jazz now a solo in second place with the second best record in the league. Again, let me repeat that one more time. At 13-4, the Jazz have the second best record in the league, and they're alone in that place. Pretty impressive. Gobert was awesome last night. 18 points, 19 boards, 4 block shots. Royce O'Neal had a career night of 20 points. Donovan Mitchell.
My man Royce.
Oh, jeez.
He was awesome in the fourth quarter.
He was.
He had some great
really good
plays.
Mike Conley was really good as well. 19.7 boards and 5 assists. Donovan Mitchell was very, very quiet. As you mentioned, Austin Rivers just blows my mind. Scored 25 points for New York, and all of it was in the first half. Randall had 18 and 10. Barrett had 17. That, by the way, is the Knicks' third straight loss. And the defense for the Jazz was so good that the Knicks, they made a total of 12 baskets in the second half. And they shot 55% from in the first half and then scored 12 baskets in the second half.
32 points in the second quarter, only 35 in the entire second half.
It's amazing. That's amazing. And by the way, Rivers nearly outscored the Knicks in the entire second half. For his first half alone, I should say. That's just bad coaching by Tom Thibodeau, as you said. But again, a great night for Royce O'Neal. It's good to see him show up offensively and have the kind of game he did again, a career high 20 points. Look, when he's good offensively, we know what he can do defensively, but when he's that good offensively, boy, it can be a good defensive team and a really lethal team offensively.
He was making some great plays, just very aggressive, going to the hole. He it looked like he was coming across to set a screen, and instead of giving the ball back to, I can't remember if it was Mitchell or Connolly, he just quickly turns and bolts to the basket. And we had to replay that a couple times in my house. We were having fun watching that. But he was aggressive going to the basket. His shot was falling. He was in his zone. He was feeling it. And it was really fun to watch. And he was playing great defense, too. That's the thing with Royce. He every night draws, usually 9 times out of 10, the most difficult defensive assignment every night. And so his offensive output usually isn't up very high because he's expending all of his energy on the defensive end. But last night was one of those nights where he did great defensively and offensively.
Conley and Bogdanovich rallied the Jazz. They combined for 22 during the third quarter. Conley had 4 made buckets, assisted on a pair as well, and hit 4 free throws during the quarter. And Bogdanovich hit 2 threes. Just awesome. And by the way, for O'Neal, we talked about him just for a bit. Career best 8 points is what he was averaging. He was shooting 45% from the field. It's incredible to watch that guy when he's able to get in rhythm offensively, how tough he could be. Now, here's the problem, Mike. I mean, we celebrate that Jazz win as they rally over the Knicks 108-94. Bad news. You got Dallas tonight, and you got them without Donovan Mitchell. How much trouble are the Jazz in versus the Mavericks?
Yeah, I mean, certainly when you lose an all-star, that doesn't help. But last night was a great illustration for the Jazz themselves that, look, Donovan can have an off night, and the rest of us can still do a lot of things to help this team win. I mean, Donovan only had 9 points. He did have 8 rebounds and 3 assists, but look at all those other starters. They were all in double digits.
It's awesome.
And he had 13 off the bench from Clarkson. Yang played well with 9 points off the bench, hit a couple of threes, 3 threes actually.
I bet you're excited about that.
You get a lot of contributions from a lot of guys, and that team, that's part of the success during this 9-game winning streak, is that we can have a lot of guys chip in and help out. So the question tonight is, twofold. And it was one of those was going to be a question no matter what. Like, who gets the defensive assignment on Luka Doncic? And what do the rotations look like with with Donovan Mitchell out of the mix? Does Joe Ingles become a starter? Or do you insert Jordan Clarkson into the starting lineup? If you do that,
I don't like Clarkson in the
things
starting
coming off the
lineup.
bench.
Yeah, I think because I brought up the idea, I think last season, and you said no. Like, why would you take away a scoring option off the bench? What good? That's why they got Clarkson, is to help score off the bench. Why would we remove that? And you were spot on too. Like, and I agree with you now. I just don't think you remove Clarkson off the bench. That is your best scoring option coming off there, and you need those points.
No, and I agree. You need somebody who can help get something going with the second unit.
Yeah.
You need somebody that the opposing team, your starters go out and they are still stressed. Like, there's still a guy on the floor that can get anything he wants. So we still have to be on top of our game. So my guess is Joe Ingles gets inserted into the starting lineup. And we'll probably see more of Mie Oni, would be my guess.
True. Good point. So Royce O'Neal obviously will have, who do you think has the assignment on Luka?
I think that'll be a combination of Royce and Joe.
Bogdanovic has got a tough assignment too, because if Kristaps moves to the 4, I would expect Bogdanovic to be at the 4 as well to play him out. That's gonna be a tough matchup for Bogdanovic.
Right, because Kristaps, Dallas will want Kristaps to come out and play on the perimeter to pull Rudy away from the basket. And so if they do that, then it's going to be really incumbent upon Bojan and Royce to hold their own if guys try to mix it up down in the post.
Yeah, Luka is just what scares me. Everyone else, I'm not going to say I don't see he's a threat, but I think Luka's the one guy who can do whatever he wants on the floor. And that's what worries me the most. All right, so tonight's game versus the Mavericks is at 7 o'clock, and then on Friday, it's an 8 o'clock start. That game is on ESPN. Unsure if Donovan Mitchell will be playing or not. We'll see. But, game on with Dallas here in this series, or I guess in this one, at least in this 2-game set.
And
no Mitchell.
Purely for entertainment purposes.
I love how we have to put a disclaimer there every time.
Just for conversation.
I'm grateful you do, though.
Just for conversation. Yeah. The Utah Jazz are favored by 2.5.
Really?
I don't know how that line has moved since the news this morning with Donovan Mitchell.
Wow. Even without Donovan, it's 2.5, though, huh? Wow.
Dallas is a good team, but they're not a great team.
No, but I'm telling you, though, if Luka gets going, Jazz are in trouble.
Dallas, they're currently 8-9. 8 wins, 9 losses. Jazz, by contrast, 13-4.
Man, I'm worried without Donovan, though. I'm telling you.
If the playoffs started today, Dallas would be on the outside looking in.
And the Jazz would be in the 2nd seed.
Yes.
Playing who?
Jazz would be playing the Phoenix Suns. That'd be a fun series.
Heck yeah. There'd be a little bit of brouhaha, too. Hey, looking at the rest of the NBA schedule from last night, Atlanta throttles the Clippers. No Kawhi, no Paul George, major problems. 108-99 is your final. In fact, for the Clippers, they shot 8 of 26 from 3, and while the Hawks weren't really that much better, 10 to 26 from 3. But the Hawks beat the Clippers, and so that's why the Jazz are now alone in 2nd place. It's because of that Clippers loss. And then, of course, Wizards and Rockets, Wall and Westbrook, 107-88. Wall and the Rockets win that battle. They improved to 7-9, 4-4 at home. The Washington Wizards are 3-10 overall. And this with all being Westbrook, who goes 19 points, 11 boards, 7 assists. Dude, Bradley Beal looks like he is in just Satan's home.
He's in purgatory.
He wants to get out of there so badly. You can just see it. He's like, why? Who got Westbrook? Why did we get Westbrook? Why am I playing with Westbrook on the court? He's just so frustrated. Yeah, but
Beal
meanwhile,
had a nice
he
night.
took 28 shots, man.
Beal had a nice night. Yeah, 33 points.
Well, he went 12 of 28, though.
4 assists,
12 of
5
28.
boards, 1 block. It's not a bad line. It's just a bad team. That's the problem. You've got Westbrook and Beal and nobody else. Nobody else.
PJ Tucker on the other side, Tate, Cousins, Wall, and Oladipo are your starters. Victor Oladipo, man, 20 points. It's like, I still don't get. I know it's a salary dump move, but the salary dumb move too. 3-10 from the 3, 7-21 overall from the field. Oladipo again, 20 points, 5 boards, 1 assist. John Wall had 24 on 9-21 shooting, and 2 boards and 5 assists.
Yeah, look at Tucker, 34 minutes, 0 points. He wasn't there to score.
No. He was there to. Well, he was there to talk trash to Westbrook, too. I want to make that very clear. Eric Gordon was really good off the bench in 29 minutes. He had 20 points, 4 assists, 2 boards. And then House Jr. ends up with 2 points on 1 of 4 shooting. So, and that's pretty much all your, major scoring from the Houston Rockets. Otherwise, Houston falls to 7-9. So, do you have the standings right there where we're looking at right now?
Yeah.
Hit me with the Western Conference.
So the Lakers and the Jazz are, 1 and 2. They both only have 4 losses. The Lakers have won 1 more game, so they're technically a half a game ahead of the Jazz. Clippers are third at 13-5. Denver, Portland, Memphis, Phoenix, Golden State. That's your top 8.
Give me Denver's record.
Denver currently 10-7.
So the top 3 are pretty much running away from 4 through 8.
And the Nuggets have won 4 in a row.
Portland's
Grizzlies
at
have won 5 in a row.
Wow. And Memphis is at 6, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, Memphis is 7-6 overall.
Dude, I don't know what's gotten into them. That's incredible, though. Who's ninth?
That's San Antonio. Spurs, they're 9-8.
So same record as
they're tied with the Golden State Warriors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Man, that I'm telling you, that 5 through 8 is going to be a dogfight. The whole entire way. Like 1 4 or 5 game losing streak could probably knock you out of it. It's as bad as those teams are. I think a losing streak would probably take you out of it. So.
Yeah, I'm surprised that see Dallas where they are. They've kind of struggled. They're not. They've had some good games, but they haven't been looking that great.
Yeah, they're losers of 2 in a row, I think, too.
Yeah, they've lost 2 in a row.
2 in a row.
They've lost 5 out of their last 7 games.
Oh, man.
Losses to Milwaukee, Chicago, Toronto, Houston, and Denver.
6-2-9-4. Line opened at 3.5 for the Jazz Mavericks game. Went to 1.5, and now has settled Jazz 2.5.
Oh, okay. There you go. Interesting.
So from 3 to 1 to 2. That's crazy. I just don't. I would have the Mavericks favored in this game without Donovan.
Did you hear what I just said about their
Yes, I did.
5 or 7?
I did.
6 or 7 games?
But we're talking, dude, if Austin Rivers can put up 25 versus the Jazz in the first half, imagine what Luka Doncic could do. Feast.
Well, it's about who else is out there. Who else is going to do something?
And Rick Carlisle is not dumb enough to take him out either. That's the crazy part.
That's true.
So if he gets in a rhythm and he gets going and he catches fire, Jazz are going to need to keep an eye on him. Again, Jazz Mavericks at 7:00 tonight.
And we will not have it.
Yeah, we want to be here.
We've got
right?
Skyview.
In a big one.
Skyview is at Green Canyon tonight.
Yeah, that's a big one.
So we'll have that here on the Fan. No Jazz, unfortunately.
That's all right. You'll get the Jazz Friday night at 8:00. Hurricane
John Newbold, he'll provide updates if he gets them. He'll update you on the score through the game.
My man, Hurricane Newbold.
9315 texts in, what does the coach and players for USU basketball have to do tonight to make this game at UNLV be a monumental standout game of the year for fans?
I just win. That's all I care about. Like, we just got to win. We can't get swept by you. Or they can't be swept by UNLV.
Yeah.
That's all I'm worried about.
I don't think they care if it's a monumental standout game of the year for fans or not. They just want to win by one more point.
Yeah. That's all they should have right now on their mind. It's just getting more points than UNLV. Really quick before we go to break, though, do you got a prediction for Jazz Mavericks tonight? And give me a couple keys, too, while you could.
I think keys for the Jazz is have good ball movement. We see the Jazz they're at their best when a lot of guys are flying around. Everybody's touching the ball. It confuses the defense. Guys are out there feeling like they're engaged. They're part of the action. So unselfish ball movement. And then everybody's stepping up their game. Bojan Bogdanovic, he's been in a bit of a scoring slump this year. He's had a few games here and there where he's been better. But I think this could be an important game for him to find that shooting touch. And then just generally, everybody else will have to raise their game in the absence of Donovan Mitchell.
Clarkson's going to have to be really good tonight, too. Clarkson's going to have to put up, give me 20-plus, and I'll be happy with Clarkson.
Yeah, but Clarkson needs to be involved in the unselfish ball movement, too. Because there were a couple plays where he just dribble. I'm going to go between my legs, I'm going to back you down, and I'm going to move over here, and I'm going to juke you with my head.
There's a couple times Snyder's like, get moving the ball.
Yeah. But and I guess one last one, too, is just continue that great defensive effort.
Oh, absolutely.
And try to limit, keep the ball out of Luka's hands as much as possible.
Yeah, again, it's defensively containing Luka, which, as you said, I think Royce is going to get the majority of that time. And then 2, everyone's got to contribute on the offensive end. Ingles has got to score. O'Neal's got to have a good game. Rudy Gobert's got to be monstrous tonight. Bogdanovic has got to be good from 3. Spread the court, and everyone's got to score tonight. Because, you can't just rely on Donovan to bail you out every single time. So that'd be my other one. Okay, my prediction is Mavericks 85, Jazz 81.
Whoa, that's a really low-scoring NBA game.
Love it.
I'm going to say Jazz 111 and Dallas 108.
Actually, I'm changing my score. I'm going to go Jazz.
Sorry, 107. I meant it to be a 4-point game. Jazz 111, Dallas 107.
I'm going to go different. You're right. I'm looking at the averages of points and such. I'm going to be different. I'm going to say Mavericks 105, Jazz 101. Jazz still lose this game. Do you want me to crank out the siren too?
No.
No.
Don't do that.
No, don't do it.
Don't do that.
Let's see, we got What Went Wrong Wednesday. So text into the show, what went wrong Wednesday in your mind in the sports world? I'm sure if you're Eric and you're a Tom Brady hater, you'll find something out of that, even though he's going to his 10th Super Bowl. But if you're me, you'll find something realistic and actually what went wrong. We'll love to hear from you, 435-339-0321. What went wrong Wednesday? We'll also preview Aggies-Rebels Game 2. Again, pregame with Al will be at 8:30 because of Logan and Bear River basketball, and then a very shortened postgame as well because of the late night start, which is at 9 o'clock on FS1. Get your pregame game with Al at 8:30 on 610 AM KVNU. Same station for the postgame as well. It's 106.9 The Fan on the Full Court Press.
The Aggies, Jazz, high schools, even the Pee Wee's T-ball team. It's the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio. The Fan.
Full Court Press, 4:27 your time here on January 27th. That's a Wednesday, halfway through the week. What went wrong Wednesday?
Yes, it is a Wednesday. It's not Friday night. Not yet.
Eric, this whole day has
Wednesday,
been just
all
a big
day long.
blur for me, okay? I'm a little tired. I'm a little wired. All right? Got a long night ahead of me.
Is that because I gave you some spud nuts today?
Oh, dude, I cannot tell you how grateful I am for that. In fact, if I lose pick 6, I will guarantee you a Spud Nut donut. So, yes, thank you. I actually thank you a lot because I've been craving those forever. It's just that never mind. It's my bank account. It's not as high to purchase the tasty ones that I want to get. Some college basketball on tonight. Hey, two big games going on in the Mountain West Conference. We'll start with this one. 7 o'clock, Boise State, Colorado State. We all know what's on the line here. This one's at Moby Arena in Fort Collins, Colorado, where Boise State 13-1 on the season, 9-0 in Mountain West Conference play. Take on the Rams, who are 11-3, 8-2, and sizzling after their split over Utah State. This is either a dangerous game for Boise State, or this is a statement win that I guaranteed for the Boise State Broncos. By the way, the line for guessing purposes and for fun is 3.
Now, the other day when we talked about it, it was even.
Oh, yeah.
So it's moved 3 points to the Broncos.
Yep.
That just signifies there's a lot of money going Boise State's way for those who are putting money on the game.
Or guaranteeing a 10-point win.
But remember, for the good of the Mountain West, Boise, the Broncos need to lose.
For the good of my ego and my reputation, I need Boise State to win. No, you're right. Though, for the good of the Mountain West Conference, Colorado State needs to get this game. But then you need Boise State to win the next game, and we need to go sweep Boise State. Like, there's just all this hoopla, blah, blah in there that you're just trying to worry about. But, look, Colorado State's a good basketball team. I think their speed is going to catch Boise State guard off a little bit. I still like Boise State as the all-around better basketball team in this one, and that's why I don't think this one's really that close.
Well, Boise also hasn't played a tough team in quite some time. Don't know how that plays a factor. Utah State hadn't played a great team in a while, and they took care of San Diego State because they had momentum on their side. But then playing good, solid teams again and again and again eventually caught up to the Aggies. Will it be the same story for Boise? I don't know. That game is going to be at 7 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. By the way, the Aggies, as you said, 9 o'clock tonight on FS1. Aggies are favored by 7.
7. Drugs, or do you go with it?
I like Utah State in this one.
Not by 7.
But not by 7.
Like, if anything proved to me in game 1, I don't think this is going to be a blowout kind of a series I thought it was before game 1. I still think UNLV is a good basketball team. They're playing with a little bit of swag, and they're, again, on their home court. So, yeah,
I'm thinking more like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like the Aggies winning. I don't think it's anything more than 6, though. By the way, do you want your predictions as well in the Utah State Aggie game score predictions? 435-339-0321, and then tell us, give me your keys, predictions, thoughts, concerns going into this game. Love to hear from you. Eric, look, the last time UNLV and Aggies met, we saw it. UNLV's three-point shooting was off the charts. As you mentioned yesterday, that is not a fluke. That is something they've been doing for a while now.
That's their game.
And how, if you're Utah State, I know the obvious answer is just hit your shots and don't shoot 15% in the second half. But how else can you get going, or at least to be able to match what UNLV is doing?
Well, I think that take the lessons and the good things that came out of that game, and that's how well you played defensively in the second half. Build on that. The Aggies took away good open looks. They took away clean looks. They forced UNLV into a lot of late shot clock possessions, forced them to rush things a little bit as that clock started winding down. So learn from that and continue to build on that. And then if the shot's not falling early tonight, find a way to work some things inside. Attack the rim. Either get a layup or go to the free throw line. And then once that starts to fall, then kick it back out for the open man. I don't think they're really doing that very well on Monday night. So they're a good team. They're a good shooting team. Just everybody was in a slump. With the exception of Marco. He was doing that. He was forcing action, especially in the first half, and he was benefiting from it. You could see it was working for him. But too many other guys were just settling for outside shots, and when they weren't falling, they didn't change their game to try to get some rhythm going for them.
Yeah, I think, you talked about, UNLV's shooting is not a fluke, but also don't think the Aggies' horrible shooting in the second half is something that you have to be too strenuously worried about. I just think that the Aggies will put it together. They'll hit. I don't think Alfonso's going to go 0 for 10 tonight. I don't see that happening. I think they'll make some adjustments for Brock Miller to get looks. I think Ashworth will be a little bit more aggressive with his shooting. And hopefully Nemish Keta will come with a good mindset, a ready mindset mentally and emotionally and physically to go out there and dominate this basketball game. Because as we talked about, they dominated in the paint offensively. They were phenomenal. And I would hope that they'd go back inside the paint and they try to go that route again and that Keta will be ready to go.
Yeah, Keta can't get frustrated. He needs to stay engaged. If the ball's not coming to him where he wants, or if it's slipping out of his hands and he's not getting a call, whatever it might be, he needs to stay in it and just keep working. They'll find him, and he can make things happen. They know that any opposing team knows how special Keta is, and if they can negate him or get him frustrated or not thinking about what he's supposed to be thinking about, they're going to try to employ as many different tactics as they can think of. So there's got to be good ball movement there for the Aggies, getting lots of guys involved. Like the assist to turnover ratio has been really bad the last two games.
Sure.
So they're not sharing the ball as much, and there's been a lot of unforced errors.
Again, the crazy part of all this is that the Aggies all time again in Las Vegas against the Rebels, 2-19. It's not really that great. They went 5 of 22 from deep in game one. Rebels hit 13 threes, but I don't think the shooting is going to be that bad. 2 games in a row for the Aggies, who, by the way, have averaged around 76.5 points per game. They've allowed around above 56 points per game against Mountain West opponents. Huge improvements from the non-conference to the conference play, but still got to find a way to get stops. Got to find a way to get back on defense and just continue to put a hand on the grill. Look, if they hit a shot with you covering them, that's going to happen. Tap them on the butt and go to the other side of the court. But what you can't let them do is get into rhythm with open looks. If you let them get into rhythm open looks, and they're going to be running tonight, they're going to run and gun with their offense, you have to be able to get a hand up. You have to close out on shots, or else this thing could get really ugly really quickly.
Right, and I think Utah State maybe needs to take a page out of Colorado State's book. What did Colorado State do in the second game against the Aggies? They pushed the pace. They took it at Utah State, and the Aggies struggled to adapt to that. Can they push the pace against UNLV? Can they get out on the open floor? Can they run it down their throat as they attack the rim? They've got to be able to set the tone and make UNLV react to them.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just looking at a couple of sound bites. I want to replay a couple of them, if that's okay with you, Eric. One of them being on Brock Miller. Al had asked after postgame just about the way they were able to guard Brock and kind of just quiet him down. And this is what Coach Smith said about that, and then have to make adjustments on it.
They did. They were really face guarding him and really trying to take him away. And then when you watch everyone else, they were really packing it in the paint. And I mean, there's a reason some of our guys had as many wide open looks as they had, specifically in the first half, and we didn't make them pay. I don't know how many just wide open threes that we had that way. So they were just basically in a lock situation on Brock and making it very, very difficult for him to get catches within our offense. And if teams are going to guard, teams did that with Sam a lot as well. And obviously those two guys are different players, but then other guys got to, step up to the plate. And we just had, I don't know how many clean looks that we had that we couldn't make. We just didn't make them. And then other times, like I said, where we just forced the issue that way. So if they're going to face guard one guy, then theoretically you're playing 4-on-4 with the other guys, which should be always the advantage to the offense. And so, but we didn't make them pay. And we're going to have to find a way because they're going to do the same thing in 2 days from now.
Yeah, if you're the Rebels, I don't think you have to change too much because your offense was the same as it's been the past 3 games. Defensively, look, they did miss a lot of good looks, but defensively, you get a closeout. That's all you're really worried about. But for the Aggies, they got to make some adjustments, especially get Miller some open looks.
Yeah, I agree. Start running some staggered screens.
There you go.
Just keep him running around. Make them really work defensively. Don't just stand in a corner and hope that the ball finds its way to you.
Yeah. And then, Marco, on the mentality of this team after now losing 2 straight conference games, where they stand going into UNLV Game 2?
I mean, we're just holding our head high. We know that this is basketball. This happens. If we just leave our head down on games lost, then we're just going to keep losing games. We can't afford to do that. So, we take the punch. We learn from it. We watch film, and next time we change the outcome. But it's really just a learning experience, and just never making the same mistake twice. And that's what we really value here.
Craig Smith has not lost. Well, I guess he lost 3-0 last year in conference play, and 2 of them were just blowouts. He lost to San Diego State, Air Force, and UNLV. Again, Air Force and UNLV just ran those guys out of their own gym. And then San Diego State took care of business on Kawhi Leonard night. So this will be a tough one. Again, I don't think it's a 7. The spread's 7, and I think that's just bonkers.
Well, 1534 texts in predicting 79-64 USU win.
Okay.
3 players with a double-double.
Do you know what? I love it. Yeah, great. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So Bean, Keta, and who else gets a double-double? Maybe
Marco?
Maybe Raleigh. He's come close with points and assists.
Nah, Raleigh ain't going to do it.
He's come close.
I'm going to say Marco. Marco's going to get it either with assists and points or points and rebounds. And Marco's been really good, too. I know he was struggling and finishing at the rim, and I think he's improved upon that. He was great last. Honestly, he's pretty good in game 1. Yeah, I'm going Marco on this one. 79-64, though. All right. I like it. And you know what? That'd be huge. To blow out, I don't know if I call it blow. I guess, yeah, to blow out the Rebels by 15 in their gym after losing to them would be a huge confidence boost as you get ready for Fresno State with 7 days off, by the way, because you don't play till next.
Yeah, it's
Thursday,
a really big
Saturday.
break.
Yeah.
Really nice break for them.
Which is nice.
3426 texts in, stop turning the ball over, even with the bad shooting. You win if you don't turn the ball over, especially non-dead ball turnovers.
Been a killer.
73-65 Aggies.
Okay, so he has it over the spread. 73-65 by 8.
By 8? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? And 3426 is absolutely positively all in, spot on. Like 17 turnovers, Eric. And I think it's like the 5th game out of 6 or whatever that they've had double-digit turnovers. I mean, it's been a mess for them, and it's really stupid turnovers too.
Right, Smith talked about that last night. Like this has been an ongoing trend. This was going on. This started even when we were winning games. Before this 2-game losing streak, we were still having problems with this. So this is not something new. Like how they're struggling with handling the ball properly.
Yeah, Alex, I think it's both. I mean, anytime things aren't going the way you'd like them to go, I always look at what's our personnel like? Is it a personnel issue, meaning the guys that are on the floor? Is it specifically one guy? Is it multiple guys? What is it? Is it our scheme? What we're running, whether it's our sets or are we giving our guys too much freedom, whatever it might be, or is it our coaching, meaning our teaching and what we're emphasizing in practice and what we're either settling for or do we have the guys in the wrong spots? We run a play for Keita later in the game, and it's an easy post touch play. We've ran that play more than anybody or any other set we've run all year, and we just throw it right to their 5-man while he's three-quarter fronting us in the post, and that's been a very successful play for us all year. And so we run another play that Keita's wide open the first 2 times we run it, and we don't hit him. He had a dunk both times. And then we run it the 3rd time, and he's guarded, and we throw it right to the defender. So, like, there's a lot of things right now. But, we got a young group of guys. We got a really connected group. They're a tight knit group. And so I know we got the guys in the locker room, but we got to find a way to get better and figure it out. Because like I told the team afterwards, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and expecting different results. And right now, the way we're turning it over, we gotta adapt and adjust and figure some of those things out.
And then here's Marco Anthony also on the turnovers. A little bit more shorter of an answer, but still the same point.
Well, I mean, that's an issue we've had these past games. Even the ones we've won in that winning streak was turnovers. We just really gotta value the ball better and just really concentrate on getting the ball first and then making decisions. And when we're making those decisions, making the right ones. So, I mean, again, it's just something you can't really hang your head on that, or the roller coaster is just going to keep going down. So you just got to learn from it.
Yeah, they're going to have to learn from it, and they're going to have to be able to end this issue soon. Because the longer this goes on, the bigger problem it's going to be against good opponents like UNLV, like Colorado State, and especially Boise State. They'll kill you on that. So they need to get this fixed immediately. How do you fix the turnover problem, though?
Well, I think it's twofold. It's especially, well, let me just say it this way. It's twofold. It's concentrating on the ball when you have it, and when you're trying to make a pass, make it a deliberate pass. Nothing lazy, nothing that's going to just kind of float over and take its time getting into its destination. And then when you're on the receiving end, go to receive the pass. Be aggressive in securing the ball. If you're floating away from it, if you're kind of lazy when it's coming to you, you're just providing an open door for somebody to take it out of your hands. Now, most of these turnovers actually are not in bad passes. They're on other weird things like dribbling off your foot or squirting out of your hands or a variety of different silly reasons. So I think it's just settling into the game plan and being confident in what you're supposed to do. If you start getting all caught up and nervous and tightening up in what's going on in the game, then that's when you're prone to make mistakes because you're thinking too much about making a mistake. I can't make a mistake. I can't make a mistake. Well, you're going to make a mistake because that's all you're thinking about.
Gotta go play free.
Yeah.
Gotta go play free.
Play free, play confident,
Exactly.
and run the system.
Yeah, and that's the thing is run the system. Play within the offense. Like Craig Smith's offense has always been meant to be a team ball system. Play within that. You'll get open looks. You'll get buckets. And you'll put this UNLV team in a hole, make them uncomfortable, and see if they just want to quit after that. So that'd be my coaching philosophy. But we'll find out tonight. Again, game time at 9:00 tonight. Pregame with Al Lewis at 8:30, and then a shortened post game immediately following the game. All right, let's wrap. We'll wrap up the first hour. Coming back, Eric Frandsen and Ajay Salvesen here on the Full Court Press on 106.9. 1390 AM, The Fan.
The new home for the Full Court Press. Weekday afternoons from 4 to 6 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
Yeah, why not? Let's go ahead and get into it. Eric Frandsen and Ajay Salvesen here on the Full Court Press. 4:50 your time. We're wrapping up the first hour. Aggies-Rebels tonight, 9:00. Jazz Mavericks at 7:00. Pregame with Al for the Aggie game at 8:30. Very shortened post game, and then Aggies will be home for a while to be able to prep and get ready, rest, and then travel to Fresno State to take on the Bulldogs next Thursday and next Saturday. News came out per Deseret News. We'll give them credit where credit is deserved. And then Barstool picked it up as well, that Gary left $2.7 million on the table as part of a buyout, and in the words that that's been reported, saying, "I don't feel like I earned that $2.7 million."
And that's the second time he's done that.
Yeah.
He did something similar at Oregon State, even though he was owed like $12 million.
It was $12.6 million in Oregon State. So the question is, good deed, or you think there's something more on the scene?
I think that's consistent with Gary Anderson.
Yeah, me too.
And while he had his pitfalls in this second go around, and he struggled at Oregon State and struggled as a head coach here in Utah State his second time around. I think he's a high character guy, and I think he's proven that multiple times over. And not everybody does that. It's very rare that anybody does that. I mean, there haven't been as many buyouts this year and coaches fired as perhaps there is in a normal end of a college football season. But a lot of those guys that did get fired, they're all taking their money.
Yeah.
They're millions and millions and millions of dollars of filthy money.
Yep. And again, I think it's such a classy gesture because that $2.7 million is a lot, especially when it comes to university money. And for Gary to say, you know what, it can be used for better reasons, and I'm not that better reason, so I'm going to turn it back to you. Is it has something to be said. And like you said, there is pitfalls, struggles, or I don't know if problems is a word, but for him to turn around and say take the buyout money for your guys' cause, and it says a lot in my opinion.
Yeah, look, it was a young team, right? Utah State lost some key guys. They didn't have a spring. Utah State is a developmental school. They really need the spring and a solid off season to develop their own guys, and they didn't have that. And so, did they underperform? Yeah. I mean that affected all teams everywhere. And that was tough, but it seemed to more adversely affect Utah State than others.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Because if you're a team with a lot of leadership coming back and talent coming back, you can kind of get through that. But when you are a Utah State team, you're trying to develop a lot of young guys and pushing them into positions they're not maybe ready to play, in minutes they're not ready to play. Yeah, it's going to show. It's going to be tough.
Speaking of guys coming back, Cash Gilliam's coming back. Devin Tompkins is coming back. Is Savon Scarver coming back too?
I don't know. There's a group of guys who have that extra year of eligibility available to them now, but that's what I think Blake Anderson and his staff is still trying to figure out. Like, who's going to come back? Who's going to still be here or not? They've been very aggressive in the transfer market.
Yes, absolutely.
But we don't know who's going to stick around. Like, since this Utah State University and Board of Higher Education decision came down about Noel Cockett, I think there's another big question here. How are those players going to react to that? Those players who could come back, will they still be here despite this investigation basically telling them they were out of line for raising these kind of concerns? They sided with Noel Cockett. They interviewed Noel Cockett and John Hartwell twice. They only interviewed them once. And 53 versus 2, they sided with the 2. So if you're a player, maybe you get upset and you don't want to come back. But maybe it's a different coaching staff and it's a different situation. Maybe you let time pass and you can get over it. I don't know. But I think that's what this coaching staff's trying to figure out. Yeah. Of these seniors who have that extra year of eligibility, how many of them are going to stick around for an extra year?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And what is our role as coaches to try to get them to stay or to gently encourage them to pursue other interests?
By the way, 9315 texted in with his score prediction for the Aggie game tonight. He says USU wins by 6+. All right. I like it.
Okay.
Confidence. There's a lot of confidence in this Aggie team tonight, including from the great guessing team in wherever they are stationed. Las Vegas, whatever. 9315 also texted in, I think the coach of the football team is doing amazing with what he has to work with, and I thought Savon is coming back. And I think he is as well. If I remember, I've seen a few tweets that would definitely share that same sentiment that Savon will be back, which is huge for the special teams.
Yes, absolutely.
For obvious reasons, yeah.
By the way, speaking of Gary Anderson, you might want to give his son a follow. Some interesting conversations going on there with Keegan Anderson.
Yeah, Keegan was it was a loyal Aggie and is very loyal to his dad, of course, and had some thoughts to share with those who disagreed with his sentiment of his dad. Really quickly, through some things that we may have missed throughout the first hour. Jason Witten's retiring, probably 1 year too late. Seahawks have released Willer, who has been accused of domestic violence for strangling his girlfriend.
That's never a good thing.
Yeah, so that will do it. So he is now a free agent, but I don't know if he'll get picked up. Packers have fired their special teams coordinator for doing nothing wrong because it was the offense's fault. The SEC has opened their schedule with 3 Power 5 matchups versus non-conference opponents. And Northwestern, how about this? Fitzgerald gets a 10-year deal as a reward for his success for this past football team. I have not seen anything on the money, but that will put him to the age of 56 when that 10-year run comes up on his contract, if he is there that long. Second hour of the Full Court Press coming up. Aggies-Rebels Game 2.
The Aggies, the Jazz, the high schools. If it's the sport you care about, we're talking about it. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. Thank you.
Eric Frandsen, Ajay, Salvesen, 501, your kickoff time here on the Full Court Press, hour number 2. If you're just joining us, thanks for doing so. Hope
on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday. Okay, it was once.
What?
I said Friday once.
I'm just excited it's a Wednesday.
No, you're emphasizing that it's a Wednesday to correct me for saying Friday once. I know what you're trying to do.
No, it's a Wednesday. It's hump day. We're midway through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like it's been a long week, too.
Yeah, especially when you keep mistaking days for the end of the week.
You know what?
That can happen.
It can happen. It's called ageism. Wikipedia, it's real. Eric Frandsen and Ajay Salvesen here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan. It's What Went Wrong Wednesday, and we're going to get into that. So if you are just joining us, or if you have been joining us, it is time to hear your What Went Wrong Wednesday grievances for the week. Let's hear them. What are they? 435-339-0321. Air your sports grievances out there for all of us to see, hear, share, and read. I've got a few of them. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
One of them's about you.
Wow. That's it. I don't see how that's possible. One would be what went wrong with the Packers. They were given every opportunity to come back and seal the deal. Tampa's up 28-10, and then they just crap the bed. I mean, they throw interceptions. They can't finish drives. And the Packers, they're given every opportunity.
So many chances.
Every opportunity to come back and win the game. Questionable play calling, questionable play decisions, and
can't tackle as well.
You got home field advantage and on Lambeau Field in January against a warm weather team, and you can't take advantage and seal the deal. What went wrong with the Packers and Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah. Okay, hey, let me ask you really quickly. Do you blame the offense or defense more for that loss?
Well, the defense, they were making plays. They were picking the things off. They were giving them chances.
But you're down 28-10 because your defense gets burnt at the end of the half.
Well, there was some pad awareness at the end of the second quarter.
The Leonard Fournette run towards the sideline that ended up being a touchdown. Horrible tackle. He broke 3 tackles. Does the offense share the blame? Absolutely. I mean, he had 4 chances to score a touchdown, or 3 chances, I guess. Matt LaFleur didn't want it to be number 4, so he decided to kick a field goal for no reason. Maybe what went wrong? Matt LaFleur being the head coach of the Packers. Just saying.
He's not a bad head coach.
Okay, yeah, they've been to the NFC Championship twice, but they can't win it.
It doesn't mean you're a bad head coach if you make it to the NFC Championship.
You are when you take the game out of your team's hand.
The decision to kick the field goal instead of go for it, yes, questionable.
Well, it wasn't just questionable, it was wrong.
Well, yes.
That's why it's what went wrong Wednesday.
But what about all the other right decisions? No one talks about all the other right decisions.
What do you mean right decisions?
We focus on 1 or 2 questionable or bad decisions.
1 or 2 questionable bad decisions. One of them is not going for on 4th and goal.
Of who we are.
The other one is allowing your defense to get burnt because you don't want to put 3 guys on the goal line.
What about everything else that led to the game, that led up to that game even happening, that put them in a position to have home field for the NFC Championship game? The type of year they had collectively.
Oh, so it's a moral victory.
No,
I will make sure they get Capri Sun drinks and donuts.
No.
Or from Spud Nuts from Johnny
we
O's.
conveniently leave out all the good things that happened leading up
because
to that.
it doesn't. No, because it's always about the last game. It's like Moneyball.
You are
Brad Pitt.
so much in the what have you done for me lately? It's only one play
because
to
that's
play.
how you should be. Oh, hey guys, we went 11 or like 15-3 or whatever it is, and got to the NFC Championship for the second year in a row. But hey, we didn't win it, but we still had a great year.
You're right. He should be fired.
That feels really
Clean
good
house,
to be back-to-back
trade
years.
away everybody and start fresh.
Hey, it worked with the Jazz, right? We gave away Tony Bradley. You didn't think you thought he should be starting under Rudy Gobert, or at least backing up Rudy Gobert major minutes. You wanted 7 Royce O'Neals out there. Look what the Jazz did. They followed my advice,
Wednesday?
and
What
they have the
went
second
wrong
best
with
record in the
Ajay's
league.
take? The list is long.
4-4-4-6. People, no, it's not. People still don't think Tom Brady is the GOAT. Okay, so you think Matt LaFleur is a great coach. Wonderful. Is Tom Brady the GOAT?
I said he's a good coach. I didn't say I don't remember saying he was a great coach. He's a good coach. If you get your team to the NFC Championship twice, you're a good coach.
But then you take the game out of your team's hand. And you allow yourself to cost the team the game.
Again, you're focusing on one decision of many thousands of decisions made over the course of a season.
Oh, so we're talking about, okay, so wait, we're happy that we made it to the NFC Championship.
No,
for
I'm
the
not
second year
saying
in a
we're
row.
happy. I'm not saying we're happy.
And
I'm just saying you need to
thrilled about
recognize that he's a good coach.
A good coach until he gets to big games. He lost to Brady and the Bucks in the regular season. And by the way, that was on him as well. And Rodgers. And then you get to the NFC Championship. I mean, and by the way, they got out-coached last year's game. There's no way they should have lost to the Niners last year. And they got out-coached. Plain and simple as that.
7325, great point. If you can't convert on 3 Tom Brady interceptions, you don't deserve to win.
Amen. Absolutely.
It's true.
You can't give Tom Brady 5th, 6th, 7th chances. Just can't do it. And they did. And that's why Tampa Bay is going to the Super Bowl.
Tampa
Bay. Dude, they're gonna name the team after him after all said and done. Dude, his first year there, and he takes him to the Super Bowl. It's gonna be Tampa Bay after it's all said and done. And by the way, Tom Brady is the GOAT in football. And we're gonna discuss this, by the way, on Friday. Our all-time greatest athletes. That's gonna get very, very tension-like in here. Be screaming and gnashing of teeth.
I'm looking at 5763's text.
Okay.
Talk about what went wrong Wednesday.
Oh, Bairstow's layup attempts Monday night. That's what went wrong. I felt so bad for him. Okay, actually, I didn't feel bad for him. I was actually chewing him out watching the TV. I was screaming at him.
What are you doing?
Dude, did you see the bench, though? Dave Ragland has his hands in the air, and then all of a sudden his hands are on top of his head. Craig Smith, same thing. Eric Peterson just puts his head down like, are you serious? Is this really happening tonight? I felt so bad because he was having a good day. He was having a good game. And then he pulls that. And then next time he has a chance to go, he has a steal and he has a chance to go in and make a nice layup. He's so concerned about what happened last time. He totally do you know what that game
overdoes it.
Do you know what that game reminded me of? And I know it wasn't the blowout that the game I'm about to mention was. But it reminded me a lot of the BYU game at the Marriott Center 2 years ago. Nick Emery made his first appearance back. And I by the way, I do not like Nick Emery. Made his first appearance back. He banks in a 3 from like behind the hoop in the right corner. Yoli Childs hits a 3 with Nemish in his grill. I can't remember who. I think it might have been Breedle missed a wide open layup. And I think at that point people were like, it was after the bank in 3 from Nick. I'm sitting behind the bench. And Craig turns to his staff and says, yeah, it's not going to be our night. Says that word for word. And I just feel like, I think after Bairstow lost the handle of the ball, Craig probably looked over and just said, it's not going to happen tonight. It's just one of the, like, how many times is Bairstow on a fast break alone going to lose the ball? How many times is Alfonso going to go 0 for 10 from the field? It just doesn't happen.
It's just a really weird night in Las Vegas.
That won't happen again. I'm confident in saying that. 9315. What went wrong is all the bandwagon fans that now love the Bucks because Brady got... Okay, hey, I know where you're shooting that at. And I've been a lifelong Bucks fan.
No, you
I've
have
said,
not.
Yes, I have.
No, you have
Yes,
not.
I have. Brad Johnson, all right? Steve Bono, Steve Young, okay? These guys...
Just because you can name former players who were on.
Warwick Dunn.
Jameis Winston.
Mike Allstott. No, don't. I'm not. Those guys are years ago. All right. I cried tears of joy when John Gruden won us a Super Bowl behind Derek Brooks and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I cried tears of joy.
Sure you did.
I am not a bandwagon guy. I'm a true and loyal Bucks fan. All right.
You've turned that Tom Brady Patriots jersey inside out.
No, but I bought me a new one.
Of course you did. Because you didn't own any Tampa Bay gear before that.
I did, and then I just grew out of it. I just didn't have, and I didn't have the time or the resources to buy me more. So I need to go buy me some more Tampa Bay gear, and I will. I'm a big Tampa Bay fan, lifelong. Go Bucks! It's been a lifelong dream, like you for the Cubs. This is me for the Bucks. It has been a lifelong dream for me to see this moment, and I am thrilled.
3426, the interview of Aaron Rodgers. What is he supposed to say at the end of a season loss? I'm thrilled that our season come. The thrills our season. Come on, great moral victory, being the number 1 seed and not making it.
Yeah. I get it. Like, he's upset. But the mysteriousness of how he answered the questions, though, of like, hey, so, what's your future going to look like? Well, I don't know. In fact, I don't know what anybody's future is going to look like. I think there's a lot of people that's going to decide. Like, dude, just answer the question for yourself. Don't answer for your players and teammates. That's not your job. Answer for yourself. If you want to say, I don't know, that's fine.
I get it. He's frustrated.
Oh,
I would be too. You're 1-4.
And your coach cost you the NFC Championship game.
3426 adds. So, Ajay, are you a bandwagon jumper to the Patriots?
Oh,
or a bandwagon jumper to the Tampa Bay Bucks? Okay.
We discussed.
That's a great question.
No, this is an unwritten rule in sports fandom. Okay? Read the sports fandom book. You're allowed to have one team in each conference.
I must have skipped that.
Yes, you must have.
I thought it was one NFL team.
No, one team in each conference. It's been updated in 2000.
Oh.
21 years ago, they updated it because of other teams coming, and the build-up. I guess they expanded the conference. So, I'm a big fan of the Patriots, and I'm a big fan of the Bucks. Been lifelong of both. What?
It's a very short lifespan of yours, apparently.
No, it's not.
With your fandom. 3426 adds, so you're a fan of the Lions and the Cardinals?
Wait, Cardinals, Detroit, and Arizona. No! No, don't you dare. All right? No, I've never been a fan of the Lions. Nor should I be. I've never been a fan of the Cardinals. Never. You know what? In fact, I rooted for Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl when they played the Cardinals. I wanted Larry Fitzgerald to lose.
Is that because you were a lifelong Pittsburgh fan?
No. It's because I hate the Cardinals.
You've been following Ben Roethlisberger since his days at Miami, Ohio?
I was following, O'Neal, the quarterback in 95, Jerome Bettis, all right, Bill Cowher was a big one of mine, all right, Lynn Swann, who was on that 95 team, was really good.
Yeah.
Franco Harris.
Were the Cowboys before that?
Oh no. No, that's a sin. That's a cardinal sin. You cannot be a you cannot be a Patriots fan and be a Cowboys fan at the same time. That's a rule. That's also in that book.
There's a lot of weird rules in this book.
Well,
to make it very convenient for Ajay Salvesen.
It makes it convenient for you two, Eric. It works through things. Okay, if your team has only won one World Series in the past 86 years, you can pick a new team. You're allowed.
God, what's happened to that team in the offseason is so frustrating.
Man. Chris Bryant's turned into a drama queen, too.
Oh.
Anthony Rizzo's the only thing holding that team together. He's the glue. Hey, by the way, I wanted to ask you, what about John Sciambi, Booger, being the new TV voice for the Cubs? You probably don't know who I'm talking about.
No, I mean, yeah.
He's called a lot of Sunday night baseball games with
Yeah.
Chipper Jones. He's really good. I mean,
Great.
He's not the Harry Carey. Is that what his name was?
No, that's fine. It's just what's happening to that team. They're letting guys walk. They're trading guys away. They say we're not going to tear it down just so we can build it up again, and yet they're basically tearing it down so they can build it up again.
Theo Epstein's no longer there. Is that right?
Yes. But that team is financially strapped.
Yeah.
So they have to shed a lot of these contracts.
If you look to trade Chris Bryant, what are you asking in return of him?
Anything you can get.
Really?
They have so many vacancies. They got so many positions they need to fill. You ask a lot. Sure, he's a good player.
Fair enough.
I don't want to go into that.
But you know what? At least you're not the Braves team, who I was so confident would win the NLCS that I guaranteed they would win after being up 3-1.
But the Braves have
And
future.
choke.
They have a future ahead of them right now.
They do. But the
Cubs
problem
don't.
is that the Dodgers stand in the way. The Dodgers stand in the way.
That's a very short lifespan for the Dodgers.
No way. That team, in fact, I think if they were to face San Diego, as they are, both teams, in a 7-game series, it'd be over in 5 for the Dodgers. Dodgers would win in 5. That's how good that Dodgers team is. And they are well-rounded. Yeah. Because I don't think the Padres lineup is suitable 1 through 9. I think it's good 1 through 5.
They're making moves. They are proving to be an aggressive.
Active.
Yeah, active.
Absolutely.
They're trying to take it seriously.
Absolutely. My guy Ryan, I love Ryan. Did you just say that Lynn Swann played on the 95 Steelers? Oh my, yes! Lynn Swann, Franco Harris, Lance Allworth, or Stallworth, or whatever his name was.
That other guy who played really well.
No,
Next
Eric, I know the names.
That other guy.
I know the names. All right? That was a great Steelers team in 95. All right, with the O'Neal dude. Who was the O'Neal dude who played quarterback? Bruce O'Neal? Was it Bruce O'Neal? Ryan, help me out. You're a Steelers guy. It was like Bruce O'Neal. Now, he sucked. I mean, he was bad. Luckily, he had great receivers around him. And their defense was good, too. But just couldn't beat the Cowboys. Greg Madison text back. Way back in 2003, baby. Ajay was a Buccaneers fan. Now it's come full circle. Okay, timeout. I was born a long time before 93. I mean, 93. Wait, 03. Okay, I was born a while back before then. Okay? And so I saw this great Bucs team come alive in 02. We were bad for years, yes. But in 01 and 02, we were really good. In fact, even in 2000, they were really good.
Were you even paying attention to the Patriots at that time?
Yeah!
Who were you following at that time?
Patriots and Bucs. I've already told you this.
You were following the Buccaneers.
Yes!
And then Tom Brady shows up and starts winning a Tom Brady guy.
No, I was still
Bill
a
Belichick.
Patriots fan.
Maybe
Drew
I'm going to start paying attention to these guys.
Ben Coates. I know that team. I cried when the Patriots lost the Super Bowl to Green Bay in 97. I cried. All right?
By the way, Lynn Swann retired in 1982. You're saying he was on a 1995 team.
Okay, so see, it's confusing because you have...
what went wrong Wednesday in real time?
Hold on. Ryan texts me. Swan, Franco, Stallworth all played for the Steelers in the set. Okay, listen. What really matters is I knew we had good receivers. All right? But I wasn't a true Steelers fan. I was just hoping they'd beat the Cowboys. That's all I was asking for. I still want to know.
There's a lot of us who fall into that category. Just want to see them beat the Cowboys.
That's why, if I'm a Patriots fan, you're not a Cowboys fan. Plain and simple. If you're a Bucs fan, you're not a Cardinals fan. Plain and simple. Oh, it's Neil O'Donnell. I knew his name had no Neil in there somewhere. Or Neil. Neil O'Donnell, that's right. That guy was overrated. If he would have won the Super Bowl, he would have been more overrated than Trent Dilfer when he won it with the Ravens in 2000. Dude, I remember Neil O'Donnell. He's the same guy. Quick story. I know we got to go to break. Quick story, Eric, and you're not even paying attention, but our listeners are. Here, listen to this. Okay, so the Jets are playing the Lions at Detroit inside of the Dome. And it's so loud when they go to the line of scrimmage that Neil O'Donnell looks back at the ref and says, they can't hear me. Like, he's like shrugging his shoulders. And the ref's like, well, what do you want me to do about it? You know, he kind of shrugs back. And he tries to call a play, and like it's so loud that Neil's like stands up, turns to the ref again, and says, "They can't hear me." And the ref shrugs his shoulders again, like, "What do you want me to do?" And then Neil O'Donnell, I think they get called for a delay game. No, yeah, they get called for a delay game. Neil O'Donnell's livid, and he's yelling at the ref. The crowd's going nuts. The ref comes out, picks up the flag, and says, "There has been a warning on the crowd. You must be quiet so they can hear the snap."
A warning on the crowd?
On the crowd, yeah. And if they were not quiet, they were going to flag Detroit for 5 yards. This is not a joke.
Wow.
So then they go back to the line of scrimmage. It's not as loud, but it's still semi-loud. You can't tell Detroit fans to be quiet. And so all of a sudden, Neil looks back and he goes, "It's too loud." And the refs are like, "Go." Neil tries to call a play, can't turn around, look back to the ref, and calls instead just too loud. Ref throws a flag, a 5-yard penalty on the Lions. That's who led the Steelers. That's who led the Steelers to a Super Bowl appearance. Overrated in every way.
And that's what began your lifelong love of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No. Watch your language. I'm a Patriots guy, so I don't like the Steelers. They're rivals, remember? You don't know. You're not a Patriots fan, lifelong like me.
By the way, Joe Ingles is going to be in the starter position tonight for the Utah Jazz in place of Donovan Mitchell, who was out because of concussion protocol. But Quinn Snyder, according to Tony Jones, Quinn Snyder says he does not know at this moment if Derek Favors will be available tonight. He's had some ongoing knee soreness. And they may not play him, which you see more Udoku Azubuike tonight in his place?
Do you?
Or do you go with like a Juwan Morgan, who's had a little more experience? Not as big, not as talented.
Here's the thing is that Oz has actually been really good for the Jazz, even as a rookie. Oz has been all right. I don't know if you play him against Dallas, though. Juwan?
I don't know. Do they if they play Kristaps at the 5?
Oh, dude, then
you probably have to play Doak. But I don't know.
Oh boy, that could be. I'm telling you, Jazz are gonna lose this one tonight. They'll split the series. They'll win one, but they'll win or lose this one, but then win on Friday. Wow, that's big. Again, Donovan Mitchell's out. Concussion protocol from last night's game when the Jazz rallied back to beat the Knicks. I can't remember what the score of that game was. 84 or 84 something. 88-74. Was that the score? What was it? 108. What was the final score of last night's game, dude?
For last night's game?
Yeah. Was it 108-94?
Something like that. I just had it up.
I keep wanting to say 98-84.
No. Jazz were above 100.
I have such
Jazz were 108. Knicks were 94.
Yeah, 108-94. They were down by 15, rallied back thanks to Coach Thibodeau pulling Rivers in the first half. Appreciate him helping us out there. And the Jazz rallied back and turned a 15-point deficit into a 12-point lead and won by 14. So, Jazz trying to continue the winning streak. They have the second-best record in the league, just behind the LA Lakers after the Clippers last night got whitewashed by the Atlanta Hawks. But that was minus Paul George and minus Kawhi Leonard, both out with cautious, or I guess what is it, caution and protocol? What is it? COVID?
Concussion protocol.
Wait, concussion protocol?
For Donovan?
No, for Paul George and Kawhi.
Oh, sorry.
That was COVID issues,
COVID
right?
protocol. Sorry, contact tracing.
Okay, yeah, there you go. All right, what else went wrong on a Wednesday? 435-339-0321. What else went wrong on a Wednesday? We want to hear from you. Air your sports grievances out to everybody for us to read on air.
It's like Festivus every Wednesday.
Wait, what's Festivus?
Airing of grievances? Feats
Oh,
of
yeah.
strength?
Yeah, it's crazy because I think that's an Indian holiday.
The Aggies, the Jazz, the high schools, the full court press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Eric Frandsen, Ajay, Salvesen here on the full court press. Wrapping up for my final segment here coming up as I'm going to be heading to Logan to the Grizzly Den, getting ready for Grizzly Bears basketball. I'll be calling the game in replace of Al Lewis. It's an extreme disappointment for all of you that will be listening to the Grizzly basketball game.
Definitely a role reversal.
Explain.
Usually Al's the one calling the game and you produce the game. At least that's how things were.
That was way back when.
Way back when.
Okay,
I've
been
young
upgraded.
little.
Okay. Young little.
What's the word I'm looking for?
This ought to be good.
You're like a little sprout,
What's up?
poking out of the dirt,
So wait, what do you call?
starting to grow.
Okay, so wait, what do you call in our producer? What is he? Oh wait.
He's a nice young man.
Can't even do it. Oh, man. Hey, it's a What Went Wrong Wednesday, 435-339-0321. A chance to air out your sports grievances. Your team. Maybe Eric says something really dumb.
Sapling. That's the word I was looking for.
Sapling?
Yes.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't say that on air.
You were like a little sapling.
Dude, if Mr. Fransen's listening, we are going to get a text message, and it's not going to
That's
be
not a
good.
dirty word.
Yes, it is.
That's a little baby tree.
Okay.
Sapling.
Sapling? Gonna sap something out of you. Wait, never mind. Well,
Now you've grown up into more of an aspen.
aspen. What is your problem today, man? God.
That's a real tree.
Ass.
I don't know what's going through your mind.
You got any wipes over there?
Yes.
Oh, you do.
Clorox.
Holy smokes, you do.
That won't be good for you if you put them on your face or your hands.
What went wrong Wednesday? Hey, I have something of grievance with you, okay? I gave you a bag of Airheads.
Wait. You did not give me a bag of Airheads.
Yes, I did.
You threw them across the
Oh,
room.
you're being salty
And
now.
everybody, and they made such a clatter. Everybody was in the whole
it made such
area.
a roast, such a clatter
Everybody in the whole
that you
area was like,
sprang from your chair to
"What
see
just
what was the
happened?
matter.
did something break?
When on the ground there was some Airheads. Okay, that may have been a little bit louder than I wanted it to be.
Everyone was like, whoa, what was that?
And I love how your response, like your tone of voice, makes it seem like you're disappointed in me. What the heck?
you made
What was
Carolina
that?
jump out of her chair.
Who?
Carolina.
Oh, that's her name. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, she didn't jump out of her chair. There's a wall sitting in front of you. You couldn't have seen. She laughed at me. She thought it was funny.
She was frightened for her life.
She thought it was hilarious. Anyways, give me a percentage of how many your kids eat those and how many you eat.
It'll probably be 80-20.
Yeah, I'm going like 90-10, maybe 95-5, because that's what you do. I give you something yummy, and you're like, "Hey kids, guess what we got?"
Trying to watch my weight.
Really?
New Year's resolutions and whatnot.
Is that after or before you've been having steak and lobster every day of the week? Huh? All right. Again, Aggies-Rebels tonight, game 2 of this series. Eric, would you call this a must-win for Utah State?
Yes.
Me too.
Oh, and I think Utah State needs to play with desperation. Like, this is a must-win. To have multiple quad 3 losses. Now, I don't think it'll end up being a quad 3 loss. I think UNLV will continue to climb. But to have multiple quad 3 losses and 0 quad 1 wins, committee's not going to let that kind of a team in
Yeah, that's
as
not
an
gonna
at-large.
Give me your thought right now, just a prognosis. Some CBS Sports has 4 teams in for Mountain West Conference. ESPN has 3. Right now, as it stands, how many teams would you put into the into the 68 team field from the Mountain West Conference?
3 seems more realistic.
Yeah, me too.
I think it'd be awesome, sure, if they get 4. And maybe it's kind of a round robin thing here where Boise and Colorado State, Utah State, San Diego State, they all kind of even each other out, but they're still all really good and still stay high in the net rankings. That's a possibility. But I think it's probably more realistic that there's 3.
Yeah, it's hard to say 4 right now. I'm with you. I think 3 is where we're at, but again, you kind of need that cycle of everyone's kind of sharing and carrying around the Mountain West Conference, meaning you need Colorado State to beat Boise State at least once, and then you need Utah State to beat the Broncos twice.
So I'm actually looking at Joe Lunardi's bracket right now, and he only has 2.
Also, he's updated it now then. Last time I saw it was 3, and that was like 2 days ago.
Yeah. San Diego State, he's got them as a 10 seed, and Boise State as a 9 seed.
Wow.
So he's got Utah State on the first 4 out.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I still think the 3 is realistic, though. I do stand by that. You need, by the way, Colorado State and Boise State play at 7 o'clock tonight on CBS Sports. I'd like to see a split. I don't think it happens in Game 1, but I think maybe in Game 2, Colorado State gets the better of them.
By the way, quick update: Derek Favors is out because of back soreness, lower back soreness. No Donovan Mitchell, no Derek Favors.
Okay, so can I change my score then?
The depth, how that rotation and how that depth gets used tonight will be really interesting for Quinn Snyder.
I want to change my score. Let's go. Oh, man. So, okay, well, let me ask you this then. Who plays? Juwan Morgan?
I think he gets minutes, but I think it'll be a split between him and Udoko Azubuike. I still don't know if I pronounced his name right. I call him Doke.
I've been calling him Oz. I like Oz. Sounds close to Odge.
Yeah, sure. So I think Mie Oni probably gets a few more extra minutes in rotation tonight. But it will be interesting to see how they handle the bigs. Now, because Dallas has had some big guys out with injury, but they're supposed to be back tonight. So they could go big and cause problems for the Jazz in the paint, which might mean they go with Doak a little bit more. But Rudy's going to have to play smart. He can't get into foul trouble. If he gets into foul trouble and there's no Derek Favors to come in and spell him and give him a break, it's going to be a long night.
Well, the other problem is Kristaps Porzingis presents a problem because he can play so well from the perimeter. Something that Rudy's not really good at guarding at. So if
he's okay guarding, he's improved.
He's improved, but he's still not that good. I'm not in the mindset that he's good enough to guard Porzingis on the perimeter and be comfortable with it. There's no way. Absolutely no way.
Dwight Powell, Willie Cauley-Stein, those guys are available. And so those are centers that are versatile. Dwight Powell can be a little bit more physical. And who knows, they may even go with Boban for certain stretches. He's just really big and lengthy. So, I don't know.
How big of a night does Luka have?
I think he gets why not? He's averaging a triple-double practically every night, so I think it would be hard for us to expect anything less. He's probably going to be 25, 10, and 9.
Phew. Yeah, he's I don't know. Like, I think Royce is a good defender. I don't know if he's good enough to hold down Luka Doncic though. And if Joe ends up being switched on Luka, Luka's going to have a really big night.
Well, and it really, I think, depends on how well do the Jazz defend Tim Hardaway Jr. and Josh Richardson.
I forgot about him.
If he plays. Trey Burke off the bench. So how well do they limit and stifle some of those other role players?
Is Traber? Oh, yeah, he's still in.
Luka's going to be able to. I mean, Luka does amazing things. He's hard to slow down. But I think the difference could be don't let anybody else get hot.
Yeah. And the other problem I have with this is if Luka does catch fire, like you thought Austin Rivers was a problem. And I said this in the first hour. Rick Carlisle's not dumb enough to take out Luka. Like he's
Tim Hardaway Jr. if he gets going.
Tim's a problem. I don't know if he has. Well, never mind. I was about to say I don't know if he's as consistent, but he is. So I'm not going to say that. Okay, so my final score, I'm going to change that now. If Derek Favors is out, along with Donovan Mitchell, let's go 115-101 Dallas.
Wow. You went from a Jazz 4-point victory.
No, a Jazz 4-point loss.
Oh, that's right. You had it flipped. You had a Jazz 4-point loss. Now it's going to be an 11-point loss?
No, 14-point loss.
14-point loss.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't feel like the Jazz, without Derek Favors, so you get help off the bench, and you're asking either Oz or Juwan Morgan to help out. I just don't see that being a solution. Are you changing your score prediction? You keeping it as is?
No, I'm going to change it. What was I? 111 to 107?
Yes.
I'm going to say 103 to 98 for the Jazz.
Wait, really? Without Donovan?
I think it'll be a more defensive focused game.
I'm just surprised you have the Jazz over 100 points without Donovan. With all due respect.
Got faith.
Yeah, you definitely do. You are not a bandwagon jumper.
Dallas averages 109 points a game. They give up 110. The Jazz average 113, and they give up 105. So the Jazz are the better offensive team, and Dallas will allow you to score. So that's why I think as a team, the Jazz will still give themselves a shot in this one.
All right, well, hit it. 115. 101.
Oh, no.
Dallas.
Oh, hey, if it's one of those predictions, all right.
Oh, wait. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
No, wait. Time out. No, hold on. I should only sound those sirens on special occasions. I apologize.
Yo, when you give those predictions, it always goes the other way.
That's different. This is different. This is more casual. I shouldn't have sounded the siren. I'm sorry. That's my bad. I should not sound the siren. Yeah. I would say 115-101 Dallas. All right. Well, let's take a break.
Yeah. Let's get into the Utah State again real quick, and then let's let everybody know what's going on with Region 11 tonight. Who's playing where and how you can follow along.
Yes, let's do that. Because Mr. Future Hall of Famer has got to go. And, as the Hall of Famers can be, we have a Hall of Famer board op doing the game tonight for the Grizzlies.
It's a rarity.
It's a cool thing.
Special occasion.
A present Hall of Famer and a future Hall of Famer in the same broadcast. Very rare. Very special. Hope you all tune in.
It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Ajay Salvesen.
9463, is it time to consider Tom Brady the best athlete of all time?
I'd put MJ and then I'd put Tom Brady. Again, MJ never lost.
True, but MJ walked away from the game a couple of times.
Michael Jordan went and won 3 in a row, left the game, went and played baseball, came back, and then won 3 in a row again. If Tom Brady were to leave, go play baseball, come back, Tom Brady would not be the same player.
Weekdays from 4 to 6, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan. Talking the sports you care about. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Welcome back to the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen with you. Ajay had to sneak out. He's on his way to get ready to call the Logan High Grizzlies. They are taking on Bear River tonight. Battle of the Bruins. It's formerly called. Tonight's a really big rivalry night. Bear River and Logan, they've had a long history of rivalries over the years. When they were in the 3A classification, it was either Logan or Bear River that was always at the top of the state in that classification. Just two historic schools, a lot of great games in their history together. So that game is going on tonight in Logan, in the Grizzly Den. It'll be on two different places, two different broadcasts of that game. So Ajay will be doing the broadcast for the Logan High Grizzlies on our sister station KVNU. That's 610 AM, 102.1 FM, the KVNU mobile app, and you can also find the stream on kvnutalk.com. And then Clint Payne, he'll be calling the action for the Bear River Bears on 104.9 The Ranch in Box Elder County. And you can find it, the stream for that game, on the 104 The Ranch mobile app. So a couple different ways to follow that game. Logan playing really well in region play. Bear River's had some moments. They're kind of right there in the middle of the pack, so they're looking to move up. Logan looking to move up and secure a better position in region and RPI standings as well. Tonight for Green Canyon, they're hosting Skyview. So those are two teams very close to each other. Student bodies used to be part of the same group previously, though it's more now. It's just the Skyview group and just the Green Canyon group, as they've been open now for a few extra years. But Skyview and Bear River, Skyview at Green Canyon tonight. And Hurricane John Newbold will be on the call here on the Fan, pregame at about 6:45. It'll also be simulcast on Light FM 100.9. You can also stream it on the 106.9 The Fan mobile app and 1069thefan.com. And then one last game to tell you about, another rivalry game here. Kind of a similar situation to the Green Canyon Skyview situation. Mountain Crest and Ridgeline. These two teams do not like each other. After Ridgeline split and that student body got split and started that new school, and they have not really liked each other much since then. So that game tonight in Millville at Ridgeline. And Dave Simmons will be on the call on 104.5 The Ranch, and also streaming on the 104 The Ranch mobile app. And the Mountain Crest game will also be simulcast on 107.7 FM. So a lot of different places to follow these games and to follow these teams. It's a very interesting night in Region 11 on our family of radio stations here at the Cache Valley Media Group. There's pretty good disparity and separation in Region 11 with the RPI rankings for the boys. The girls, very compact. So interesting to see how that continues to play out. Ridgeline with a big win last night. Kind of struggled against Skyview and then started to get it together and took the lead, almost lost it, but they were able to finish out to get the win as they stay on top of Region 11 in the RPI rankings. So we'll update that later tonight. We'll have the updated, we'll have the photo galleries online on CacheValleyDaily.com. So make sure you check back online later tonight. You'll see those games. You'll be able to relive them in picture and see some of the exciting action as it played out in these different venues throughout the area in Region 11. Quick timeout here in the Full Court Press. When we come back, some last thoughts about Utah State at UNLV. It's a late game for the Aggies. What can they do to kind of right the ship? They've been off the last couple of games. They're in the middle of a 2-game losing streak. What do they need to do to prevent it from becoming a 3-game losing streak and get themselves back to staying at or near the top of the Mountain West Conference? We'll talk about that coming up next right here on the Full Court Press.
The Aggies are #1 here. The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
Eric Frandsen with you here on the last little bit of the Full Court Press. Before we get into the Utah State Aggies tonight at UNLV, Ron Counts with the Idaho Statesman reporting on the coaching staff salaries at Boise State as they've come together. and put this team together. Their salaries are being revealed. And their defensive coordinator will be the highest paid assistant on that staff, expected to be about $280,000. But former Utah State interim head coach Frank Maile, not that far behind. According to documents that have been obtained by the Idaho Statesman, longtime USU assistant Frank Maile, he is going to be the assistant head coach there in Boise. He'll also be the defensive line coach, and he's expected to make $260,000 in his first season with the Broncos. Stacy Collins, former Aggie assistant coach, he's expected to make $225,000. So some former Aggies getting paid in Boise. For the Aggies tonight, for the basketball team, this is a game where Utah State needs to make UNLV react to them. I thought they did a much better job in the second half defensively. Keep that going. Did a much better job of taking away good, clean looks for the Rebels. Make them really work hard to get any looks that they do get. And meanwhile, you just got to make shots. I mean, the Aggies had their opportunities. Just got to see the ball go through the hoop. If the outside shot's not working, bring it in, attack the rim, and really just keep shooting. Eventually, they will fall. And then the other thing too is just clean up the turnovers. Got to play confident and deliberate. So no lazy passes. Run your routes properly like you're supposed to. Be in the right position. And play loose. Have fun. Yes, they've lost 2 in a row. But UNLV, that's a tough place for the Aggies to play. They have a hard time getting wins in Las Vegas. But they've just, my hope is that they've spent a lot of time in the gym, just putting up shots and getting comfortable with the sight lines and feeling comfortable with the gym and the arena. UNLV is going to come out and try to put up a bunch of threes again. They're going to try to use their individual athleticism to overwhelm the Aggies. So Utah State has to use their aggressiveness and their ability to lock things down defensively and use that to translate into offense as well. How well will they do that could very well be the defining factor in this game. Got to have more help off the bench. Bairstow had 4 points. That was it. That was all the offensive output they got from the bench. And frankly, he could have had 4 more if he doesn't fumble 2 easy ones. So I wouldn't expect it's going to be such a bad shooting night for the Aggies like it was on Monday. But they have to do other things than just making shots if they want to get past UNLV. They learned this is a good team, an aggressive team, that not a bad defensive team. They haven't played as many games as the Aggies have, but they're a good team, not to be overlooked. And this is just that's a UNLV coaching staff that has historically known how to coach against Craig Smith and his teams. So what kind of adjustments does Craig make? After the game, he talked about maybe changing personnel. Who is that? Is it just in how they're used in rotations with the different lineups on the floor at any given time? I don't know. So that will be curious for me to see. How does that change? Or just the very threat of that, does that help guys kind of get dialed in and settled in a little bit better? Frankly, I don't really know what options are there that we haven't seen. But it could be a matter of who sees how many minutes on the floor or who plays with what other players. So that'll be interesting to see how that gets changed, if at all, tonight. But you know what? If the Aggies get back to what made them great earlier in the year, they'll be just fine. And that's ball movement, helping each other out, everybody connected, running a lot of it through Nimi. They'll be fine. I still like their chances. I like their chances tonight. I don't know if I like them by 7, I think UNLV will still be a good team. I'm thinking Aggies by 5. Again, the game is on FS1 at 9. Al Lewis pregame coverage starting as soon as the Logan High game concludes on KVNU. And then FS1 tonight on a late night starting at 9 o'clock. And by then, the Boise State-Colorado State game will mostly be decided. So could be very interesting to see how that might play out for the standings in the Mountain West Conference. You know that'll be part of the discussion. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow.